everybody's doing it. I'm Tom Tessereau, I'm the Healing Arts Center Headmaster, and we're here in the Ocean of Reiki room. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. Hope you're doing well today. And we're going to do a breathwork class live. We had a breathwork class scheduled for yesterday that, of course, had to be canceled because we're all sheltering in and staying in. We wanted to offer you something that would be helpful for you during this time. And so thank you for joining us. And you can, if you're on watching, you can hit watch party and you can share this, and then we'll all be in there together. So this is a breathwork class, and it may not be for everyone. We have an audience, a wide audience of people that are joining us today, including people with training in breathwork in the Healing Arts Center curriculum and advanced techniques. We have people that have, some of you I know have taken the breathwork mastery track or have done individual sessions. Some of you may even be trained in other modalities of breathwork. And yet some of you have had no experience with this. So imagine teaching a martial arts class with people with white belt knowledge and or no knowledge all the way up to people that are black belts. So I realize that a lot of you are at different levels of skill and understanding and proficiency and study with breath. If this is completely new to you, welcome. We hope that this starts an understanding of how breathwork might be helpful to get you through life in general, and also in times like this, where we are under, most of us would say that we're under more stress. So the disclaimer here is that breathwork is a dynamic process, and it's a participation process. So we're going to ask you to participate today. We're actually going to go through a little bit of time at the beginning. So this will be a review for some, new for others, of part of the philosophy and the science and some of the history and even some of the, a few stories about breathwork and how this works. This may not be for everyone in that, like, you wouldn't go out and run 10 miles today if you had a serious health condition, or if you had a heart condition or something like that. You would just have to take it easy. So when we start breathing after a while, please go through your own checklist of, is this okay for me? Does this feel safe for me? Because ultimately it is your freedom of choice to participate. Another thing is that you would not have to necessarily believe everything that I'm going to say today. If you do comment on Facebook Live, we're going to ask that you please be kind, so that others don't have to, come to my defense if they have experience and know how this works. Just be kind. This is an offering of love. We have looked at opportunities, and many people, as you've seen on Facebook, are offering classes through Zoom and Facebook for a fee. There's nothing wrong with that. This is a free class. So as this is an extension of love, it's an expression of love, it's a gift of love and caring for our Facebook followers and for anybody that's tuning in, then I hope that you can accept it in that way. There's a statement you may or may not be familiar with about HAC weird. So some of these things do seem weird. We are known for traveling on that weird side of things, and this is going to be nothing short of that, especially if it's new to you. So we want to start with an invocation. Whether you have a prayer life or you have any understanding or belief or practice around thinking in terms of a higher power or God or the universe or the cosmos or universal mind concepts, we would encourage you to at least give us this opportunity to do a brief invocation. To the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, to all the benevolent beings who are assisting humanity at this time and who are helping the earth at this time of change and of transition and of challenge. We thank you for your divine protection, divine guidance, divine help, divine assistance, We thank you for your blessings. We thank you for the healing. We could think in terms of, but you can use your own thoughts around this, the healing angels, the holy archangels, the saints, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to all the great ones, to all the enlightened ones, to all the Christ beings, all the Buddha beings, to the breathwork lineage, to all our lineages through this healing practice. We thank you so much for this opportunity in full faith. So be it. All right. So there's a first weird thing for some of you. Would you kindly check in with yourself and see, there's a scale that's used in nursing, it's used in massage therapy, it can be used in almost any manner, a scale of 1 to 10. So if you were to ask for 0 to 10, actually is even better because there is such a thing as 0 or nada or lack of. Please ask yourself in this moment, how stressed am I, 0 to 10? So I can say my stress level is up because I'm new to this, doing this way. I've been doing breath work individually and in groups for almost 30 years, thousands of people, and yet I have not done breath work live and over the internet. So I have a little bit of stress around that. So on a 0 to 10, please check and see where your stress level is right now. This will be helpful for you later. And then if you have a pain, just check and notice, do you have any pain in your physical body? And if so, 0 to 10, again, what is your pain level? You could also use a tightness or a stiffness scale. There's many different ways that you could look at yourself. So use that as a gradation, as a measurement, as a watermark or a benchmark of where you are today. And if you stay with us during this, I think you might notice that this is helpful for you, that it does and can and will help you to reduce your pain, reduce your stress, and so on. So for some of you, this is a familiar space. I'm in the Ocean of Reiki room at the Healing Arts Center in St. Louis, Missouri, and we're under mandate or suggestion anyway. So the school is closed, the offices are closed, and my wife Sabrina, some of you know my wife, my beloved Sabrina Tessereau, is here helping with the technical part of this, and we're very grateful for that. Thank you, Sabrina. So maybe you've been noticing that certain things have been coming up in your experience, and there's an analogy of a coffee cup. And even today when you're doing breath work, you might also think in these terms. So when we're doing the breath work practice later, you might be thinking or noticing, like, well, why am I experiencing this physically, mentally, emotionally, or why am I having this perhaps spiritual or cosmic experience? The analogy of the cup, and you've probably heard of it, is you're walking along with a cup of coffee and somebody bumps into you. What spills out of the cup is coffee. It's not tea, it's not milk, it's not vodka, it's not water, it's what was in the cup. So this analogy points to that when we're in these stressful times, if someone is saying something, if somebody's doing something, we're having to make all these changes and we're living life differently and we're worried about this or stressed about that, we can notice what's coming up. If what's coming up is anger, we could say that what was in our cup was anger. If what's coming up is impatience, it might be that we are on a deeper level very impatient, and yet it takes something outside of the normal to be a mechanism of action for that to come to the surface. Likewise, if we're very trusting, if we're very loving, if we're very giving, you might notice that you are also acting out in those ways consistently or most of the time. So these challenging times like we're in now with this virus, with COVID-19, coronavirus, are allowing us, and all the changes that are ensuing around that, and the fear and the uncertainty, and it's certainly bringing things up for us. Maybe it's our control issues. This is not a sermon, this is not, there's no judgment around that. This is actually just an opportunity to look at ourselves as over these last 10 days or so, or looking at ourselves even now, or even during this breathwork practice today, and taking a look at that. So one of the things that seems to be coming up for some of us, and maybe all of us, is a certain lack of being out of control. There's so many things right now that are not within our control. So I was thinking today in terms of the Serenity Prayer. I think that became more popularly well known through 12-step programs, but probably most of us are aware of it. So I thought I would repeat this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So here we are wondering, what can we control, what can we not control, what can we change, what do we not have the ability to change? And the Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, Tibetan Buddhism, the leader of Tibetan Buddhism, said, if you have fear of some pain or suffering, you should examine whether there is anything you can do about it. If you can, there's no need to worry about it. If you cannot do anything, then there is also no need to worry. So here we are in this time of wondering, what are we going to do to facilitate and to get through this change? So I'm understanding, I got a note that some people say that you can't hear me, so we're going to make an adjustment here, and I will speak louder. And you can continue to send us a message. Please, again, be kind and let us know what you need. We're here to serve you. So you have this, you've measured yourself 0 to 10 for your pain, your stress, tension or tightness. We're going to do a practice now based on the Heart Math Institute. So we're making technical advances and technical changes here as we go. So if you would bring your palms together at your heart, the center of your chest. And you could close your eyes. And you could ask yourself, how willing am I to learn 0 to 10? 0 is like the know-it-all in the room. Maybe you are that, or there's someone near you, or maybe you've been in a class with someone who is the know-it-all. There's nothing to learn. Or maybe 0 would be someone who is apathetic, who has given up on learning, and because when they went into a learning situation like this and they did something, or maybe they even tried to do it and they didn't notice any change and they just gave up. So apathy of learning or know-it-all could be a 0. 10 could be someone who is understanding that life is learning, that life is a school, that we are here to learn, and that if we learn a lesson, it sometimes does not need to be repeated. Just like in academics, you pass the test, you move on. So here we are learning a lot. We can either fight against that or go with the flow. If life is really teaching us something here now, 0 to 10, just notice where you are. And since you have control of your mind, how about if you go ahead and be a 10? Just see yourself at a 10, take a nice deep breath, and just say to yourself, I am completely and totally and gratefully willing to learn. I'm a 10. And notice what happens. Something in your physiology changes. It may be that you become a little bit more relaxed. It may be that your brain is releasing certain neuropeptides and you didn't even notice it. It could be that your GI tract actually relaxed a little bit. You would probably not notice that either, unless you notice some gurgling or something like that. You could also ask yourself, 0 to 10, how willing am I to change? 0 would be someone who is defiant, or rebellious, or stubborn, or resistant. You know, the digging in the heels, hell no, you can't make me. That could be a 0. 10 would be someone realizing that life is change. The only constant in life is change. That so many things are changing. Even right now, inside of us, millions or billions or trillions of cells are changing. During times like we are under socially and globally, that maybe We're being asked to change. The universe is changing, the cosmos is changing, politics are changing as we speak, economics are changing, family dynamics are changing, people are dying, people are being born, people are getting married, people are becoming estranged, or separated, or divorced. There's so much going on, so many things are changing. We're asking you to please consider being a 10. In other words, being willing to change. If so many things are changing, whether we have the ability to make them or to control them or not, we may decide to go with the flow. So one idea, again, you don't have to believe any of this. You can certainly think for yourself. This is something that has proven helpful for thousands of clients and thousands of students at the Healing Arts Center. That being willing is like going up an up escalator in life. We can be unwilling to a certain degree, and we can still make it through life, but that would be with more effort, like going up a down escalator. If life is going up, if life is learning and life is changing, we're considering right now, in this moment at least, being willing. So see yourself at a 10 willing to change. Which some people get stuck on that and think, well, I don't know. I'm not sure what it is that's going to have to change. This is not conditional. This is a willingness. Certain things will never change. Certain things will never have to change. Lots of things are changing. We're asking, are we willing to change? It's so helpful, we found. See yourself at a 10, willing to change, and a 10, willing to learn. And be aware of your heart. Right where your hands are brings awareness to your heart. It brings energy to your heart. According to the Heart Math Institute, the Institute of Heart Math, as in mathematics.org, bringing our awareness here actually starts to increase the electromagnetic field of the heart. They have subtle instruments, and these are doctors and researchers and scientists. There are subtle changes that happen in the electromagnetic field of the heart as the heart becomes more activated. Simply having your awareness there now is the first step. Another thing that one might do, and this is a breathing class after all, is to imagine breathing in and out through your heart. Well, some people will initially say, well, how do you do that? Any child could imagine that there is a space, an opening, a window open, or another set of nostrils or a mouth perhaps, right in the center of your chest. And that you could breathe in and out through there. So practice that for a moment, breathing in, imagining, sensing, feeling you're breathing in through your heart. And again, breathing out through that space. You're imagining it. According to the Heart Math Institute and their subtle instruments and their reports that have been published medically, that as you do this, your electromagnetic field, we could say the energy field around your heart begins to grow, begins to become enhanced, become stronger. If we were measuring it as light frequency, we could say that it's becoming brighter. If we were measuring it as temperature, we might say that your heart is becoming warmer. So just being aware of the center of your chest and inhaling and exhaling through that space and allowing a sense of, and it maybe is already there, even in challenging times, there's so much to be grateful for. So maybe you already have gratitude there, and if not, you can place it there gently in your heart space by simply thinking about any person or place or thing or event, past, present, or future, that you're grateful for. Any aspect of life, any part. And continue to breathe in and out through your heart. You could even smile at your heart the way you would smile at a friend, because it is. It's your emotional, sensitive, feeling, energetic, thoughtful, kind, compassionate, forgiving, altruistic heart. It's connected to your physical heart, but it's that other part that we're also aware of. In yoga science, it would be the heart chakra, the wheel of energy around the heart, energy center. In Christianity, Catholicism, it could be known as the heart, sacred heart, or the heart of divine mercy. In Buddhist teachings, from the mind of the Buddha and his teachings, there is a teaching called the Heart Sutra, which is about the practice of and understanding the compassion and the loving kindness of our heart, the human heart, the human experience of the heart. It's like the Grinch in the Dr. Seuss classic Christmas, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, when his heart grew 3 sizes that day, when he remembered or realized the true meaning of Christmas for the Who's down in Whoville was not the material things that had been taken away. It was about community, and here we are joined in a virtual community. We have that. It was about rejoicing, and we are going to be using the breath as a sign of, as a signal of joy in our being today. We can rejoice. So see yourself again, willing to learn a 10, willing to change a 10. Be aware of your heart. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Are we doing better on the sound? Let us know. So this class is based on some simple ideas, some simple concepts that you may or may not have thought of. One of the things you can do if this is completely new to you is go to our Facebook page, facebook.com, #the Healing Arts Center. You'll find the video live there, and maybe you're already there. Or you can later go and find a link that we put up the other day. It's an article that is suggesting that is breathwork the new yoga. This is becoming so popular, even though some of us have been doing it for decades. More and more people are just finding this, and that's good. That's what we've been working for all these years. So looking at is breathwork the new yoga leaves out a simple understanding, is that breathwork is yoga. Yoga is, in essence, a connection with spirit. It's a connection with the divine. Yoga meaning yoke or union. So the yoga practice that we do in the West, for some people getting started, elementary, is yoga postures, the asanas, the movements, to prepare the body for a union with divine energy, with our divine nature. Breath, pranayama, is another form of yoga practice, breathing practice. So this is not new, it's just new to many people in the Western culture. Meditation is a part of yoga. Doing breath work the way we're going to be doing it today is, you will find, like a meditation that takes you inside of yourself, where you really get to see your true self, your true being. Now, what you might find is there are certain things in your cup that you didn't know were in there. That's okay, because breath, inhaling and exhaling, is always bringing in the new and letting go of that which is old. So we will be refilling our cup. It's okay if today there is anger or fear or stress or unforgiveness or lack of love. What we might find is through this breath work today is that we can refill that cup with the breath. So there's so many resources. It used to be that because we were one of the only places in town to talk about, or in the Midwest, to talk about breath work as a practice, as a healing modality, that we felt like we had to say it all, like we have an audience and they need to know all this, but we can relax now. YouTube, Google, Facebook, it's so full of these things. Please go and find more. We could simply say that breath equals life. Let's keep it really simple. If we had an equation, breath equals life, we would start with that when there's life, there's breath. Simple concept. Maybe it's true, maybe it's just a great way to think of it. That when there is breath, there is life. So when a child comes into the world, if there's sufficient breath, that's one of the signs that there is sufficient life, and the chance of survival for the newborn is really, really good, with other variables, of course, with other things that might happen. But breath being one of the first signs of life. At the end of life, when someone is leaving, when someone is dying, they're in hospice, or there's been a terrible accident or something, we watch the breath to understand when life is no longer there. So one way to think about this is that at the beginning of life, we inhale, we take a breath. It's never been medically observed, to my knowledge, that somebody comes into the world and exhales. Actually, the first thing that happens is an inhale, an inflow of life and energy, and at the end of life, then, if you're ever around someone, or it'll be true at our end of our life as well, at the end of life, we will breathe out. Again, medically, it has never been observed, to my knowledge, that someone has breathed in and they were gone. There's always that last exhale. The body is still there, but spirit or life or the essence or the soul or whatever we want to call that, the mind has left the body. So in this case, we're looking at breath equals life. If that is an equality, and we're going to assume that it is or know that it is, if we have restricted breath, then we could say that we are also restricting life, the flow of life, the experience of life. Now that is actually a built-in mechanism within us that we can understand it's actually good. Holding our breath can help us to modulate or to numb down our pain or our suffering or our stress. So maybe that's what you have noticed that you have been doing, or that people around you. For someone like myself and others who have been watching people and watching how people breathe with curiosity for a very long time, one of the things we're noticing is that people are holding their breath. For good reason. We're stressed, which creates almost like a tourniquet around our solar plexus, our feeling center, and our diaphragm muscle, which is essential for breathing well and breathing in a healthy, full way. The other thing is that when we're out around people, and we do have to do that, don't we? We have to shop, we have to be with others occasionally, even though we're staying at home and staying in place, is that maybe we even think, oh, I better not breathe because that's where that stuff is coming from. That's where that deadly thing is coming from. So there are reasons why we are maybe as a society holding our breath. So how beautiful it is that we're getting together today to breathe. To sort of, set the reset button, the refresh button on our computers, on our mind and body and our breath, so that we can get a fresh start at this, so that we can get through this in a good way. So if we are restricting our breath, we're restricting life, and yes, that is a way to modulate pain and stress, and yet when we're safe, and we're going to look for an opportunity to realize that we're safe in this moment today, doing this breath work, that we can regain our full breathing and our full breathing capacity. We can let go of the stress, the tension, the toxins, the emotions that we've been holding on to, and we can restart and get a fresh new place from which we can move forward into the future, whatever that looks like. So if we have restricted breath, restricted life, that kind of sounds like the negative side of this, but there's also the positive side of this. The yin and yang of this, the other side of the coin, is by breathing fully, we can be living fully. By breathing deeply, we can be living deeply. By breathing in a relaxed manner, we can be living in a more relaxed manner. Most of us are aware of sort of the fight or flight or sympathetic pattern of breath work, of breathing that we do when we are stressed. We've seen that in others, we've seen that in ourselves, we've felt it in our own bodies. That kind of sympathetic pattern of response, which is breathing up into the upper chest. So what we want to do today is, because we have been stressed, whether we're realizing it or not, whether we've denied it or we're numbing it out in some other way other than just holding our breath, we can regain back that more parasympathetic functioning of our autonomic nervous system by breathing deeply into our bellies or into our full breathing capacity. So again, breathing more fully, breathing more easily is going to allow us to live more easily and live more fully. That's the analogy here. That's the metaphor. That's actually the finding. So again, you're watching this live. We're looking at this as an opportunity to participate or not. If this is not your style, if you would rather not think about this, we're going to ask you to please be kind in your responses on Facebook and to be kind to yourself to either participate or to go and find something else that's also useful for you today. We could think in terms of that most people maybe are not aware that, who would have to know this. We breathe approximately 21,000 times a day. That's a lot. If you multiply it out or divide it out, you'll find that that's true. Just watch your breathing and multiply it out. What's really interesting is to multiply that out over the amount of years that you've been on the planet and look at how many breaths that you've taken. Yet if we bring it down to one single day, like today, approximately 7 billion people on the planet are going to be breathing 21,000 breaths today. And as far as we know, there's still going to be enough breath for everybody tomorrow. At least that's been what has been, seems to be true over all of these years or thousands of years or millennia that we've been on the planet, that there's been life on the planet. So we want to think in terms of breath being infinite. So if breath is infinite, why would we, like if we were going to the ocean and we wanted to put out a fire, we probably wouldn't take a thimble down to the ocean and run back to the fire. We would probably want to take at least a bucket. Or, as in this community that we are here together, and this breathing community that is really starting to grow in St. Louis, which is really exciting, is that we might, as a community, do a bucket brigade. We might be handing buckets from the ocean, and we would have enough water, but we would all be breathing, we would all be moving water together. Another idea is that maybe there's some way that we could tap into the ocean being probably an infinite supply. It's refilling itself, it's condensing and so forth, and rivers are flowing into it. So we could put a pump in there and pump all the water that we needed, because there's an infinite supply. Why only take a little, take a lot? So today we're going to encourage you to start breathing more fully. Join in a community, more like the bucket brigade, so we can all get this done together. Or simply, you have a breathing mechanism, you have a pump inside of you, with which you are connected to this infinite supply. However, if we are holding our breath, if it's something new under stress, but it's probably more habitual, if we're holding our breath, it's like we're stepping on the hose while trying to get the water out of the ocean. Today we'd like to encourage you to open up your breath, open up that flow of infinite energy and infinite oxygen and infinite breath, and see what happens. I think you'll be happy that you did. The other thing we're going to be working with today is infinite mind. We may not normally think of our minds as infinite, and yet some great thinkers that I like to repeat or think on the things that they have thought before, like Leonard Orr, for example, the founder of Rebirthing, a breathwork practice that really spread around the globe. Leonard left his physical body last year, and part of my devotion today is devoted to he and other teachers that have brought us these amazing technologies in times when we really need them. So this idea of infinite mind is that perhaps around these situations that we're finding ourselves in, that we are limiting what we're thinking. And the question would be why? Why are we only thinking in a certain way? And I know it's confusing, isn't it? All the data that we're getting through news and media and social media and through our friends and our contacts and all that. And yet maybe we're starting to land on some certain ideas about something, and maybe we need to do that in a time like this. However, we can keep in mind that we have an infinite mind. Right now, we, you, I, can think any thought that has ever been thought by any human being ever. That's amazing. So think about the people right now that are actually doing really well. The people that are thriving. That are people that are understanding this as an opportunity to help and serve more. Or whatever. If they're thinking something that we're not thinking yet, why not think that? Why not go ahead and think any thought that we would want to choose? So we're going to give you a little bit of coaching on this after a while of how you can have some ideas about what it is that you want to be thinking today as you go into this self-exploration. Breath, we could say, is an exploration into inner space. You will notice things in your physical body, your mind, your emotions, in your spiritual nature, whatever that is, your energetic nature, whatever that is, whatever you think that is today, in a way that can be helpful for you. So the question is, how are you doing? And what would you like to be experiencing? I'd like for you to think for a moment. If it's helpful for you to close your eyes, you can do that. Think for a moment about what you would like to be experiencing. Again, based on that, serenity prayer and the Dalai Lama, his comment about if you can change something, if you cannot, either way, it's okay. So what would you like to be experiencing? Please think about that for a moment. So this might be helpful, and if you've had training here at Healing Arts, you are familiar with this. Please think about if you could have it all, and all good was possible, and you were fully worthy and deserving of all good, what would you desire? For yourself, let's start there. This is like putting the oxygen mask on you first in the airplane before you go out and rescue others. We're looking at what would allow you to have the experience that you need to be okay. Then if the opportunity arises, as things open up, or even through those avenues that are now available, through the contact that we have with people, how would you be so that you could serve and help others, if that's the ultimate goal? So what would you like to be experiencing? Put some words around that. And this is where we suggested you might have a pen and paper. You could write something down. What would you like to be experiencing? You could even say, if there was a word that would describe what you would like to be experiencing, what would that word be? See, there's only so many problems. There's only so many solutions. There's really only so many things that we would like to be experiencing. And a lot of people would say they want to have peace, they want to have joy, they want to have love, they want to have comfort. Once we get past the essentials, now if you don't have toilet paper, or if you don't have food right now, for sure you want to have that. But assuming that we have those essentials, food, shelter, and clothing, and we're hoping that you do, what would you desire now? What would you like to be experiencing if all good was possible, you were fully worthy and deserving of all good, and you could have it all? Please think in those terms. If you were experiencing that now, how would you be physically? What sensation would you have in your physical body? If you want to write notes, but you can just make a mental note, or you could write physical, or just a P, the letter P. What would you be experiencing in your physical body? We're not saying you're experiencing that now, but in your ideal experience, having it all, being worthy and deserving, all good being possible, write down that word, and now a word of what you would be experiencing in your physical body. What would that be? Would it be relief? Would it be release? Would it be comfort? Would it be breath? Would it be fluidity? Would it be flexibility? Whatever it is, would it be a sensation? Would it be a flow? Would it be lightness? Describe something physically you would like, and we're moving on. What would you like to be experiencing mentally? Write down a word of what you would like to be experiencing mentally if you could have it all. We're expecting and encouraging you, inviting you to think outside maybe where you normally do. Some of you think like this all the time. I know some of you are on this call, on this live feed. You've been doing this and you've been practicing. So what would you be experiencing mentally? What kind of thoughts or ideas or beliefs or pictures or memories or colors, activity of your mind. How does your mind, if you were experiencing that state that you most would like to experience, and I want to remind you to think big. Please think big. Let's move on to emotional. What are you experiencing emotionally in this experience that you most desire? How would you know if you were experiencing that which you most would like to experience? In our classes here, we call it our ideal life. Some of you don't have that training yet. What would you like to be experiencing emotionally? In your heart of hearts, how would you be right here? What emotional tone or flavor would you have in this experience? Please flesh it out a little bit, write it out. And how about spiritually? If you have this idea of yourself as a spiritual being, what are you experiencing spiritually? That higher self, that higher part of you that's also in here. How are you experiencing your soul, your essence, your spirit in this experience? Again, we're thinking big. We're thinking in terms of you could have it all. All good was possible and you were fully worthy and deserving of all good. So by now, either mentally or in front of you on a piece of paper, hopefully, or maybe you're typing it out, you have an idea of what you'd like to be experiencing, how that would be for you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Last piece is, how would you be breathing? How would breath and life be moving through you if you are having that experience right now? Get a word. How would breath and life be flowing through you now? Now, when you get a word, maybe it'd be full, maybe it'd be easy, maybe it'd be effortless, maybe it'd be unconscious, I don't have to think about it. Go ahead and write that down. When you get an idea of this prototype of your breath, go ahead and practice that for a few breaths. So if the breath that would most signify you having this experience that you most want is fullness, practice some full breaths. If it's a relaxed breath, let your breath be relaxed. Whatever it is, go ahead and practice that just a little bit. Now hopefully you have your paper and pen handy. If not, again, you can still do this in your mind, or you can go back and watch this video later and you can put in some other, work this through. In fact, we hope you watch this again, if it's helpful. So, what you've been experiencing, if that was fear, or if that's concern, or whatever that is, would you please write down these words? A thought I've had that's making me afraid is, and fill in the blank. A thought I've had that's making me stressed is, and fill in the blank. There's so many, right? That's step number one. Step number two, write these words, please, or just write the word another. Another thought I've had in the past, or another thought I'm having now that makes me afraid, or whatever you've been experiencing that's challenging or stressful, it makes me stressed, is, and fill in the blank. This is like finding out what's in our cup. I have coffee. I have bulletproof coffee in my cup. If someone bought me right now, I would spill coffee. So by doing this process, we're actually looking inside of our cup and saying, what's in here? What's driving these thoughts? What's driving this experience? Generally, it's thoughts. Generally, it's the mind. So the third step, please, is to write down, or in your mind, think it through, and make a mental note. The most important, or the big thought I've had that's making me fearful, stressed, challenged, is, and fill in the blank. You can do this spontaneously. It's almost like my favorite color is, and you would probably write that out. Most people would just say my favorite color is and state that. That's coming out of the unconscious or the subconscious. These thoughts can come from there as well without even thinking. But it's good to look and see what's in our cup. So now you have this idea of what it is that you want, beyond these thoughts, beyond this experience you've been having. So we're moving beyond, going beyond. Maybe you have a word for that: peace, comfort, love, safety, whatever it is. Community, maybe that's what you're missing most as we've been socially distanced. Whatever it is that you decided, this is what I'd like to experience, please think in these terms or write it down. A new thought I now choose that allows me to have this experience is, and fill in the blank. What's going to be most helpful for you, research shows, to put it in an I or an I am or an I'm, abbreviated, sentence. So a new thought I now choose that allows me to have, if it was peace, maybe I would say a new thought I now choose that allows me to experience peace is, I seem to be okay in this moment. Or I love and accept myself. So we're going to do 3, so you don't have to go for the big one yet. Number 2, another new thought I now choose that allows me to have this experience that I desire. You know what that is, if you're following along. So you're choosing another new thought. Might not be a new thought, maybe you thought it before, but we're leaving a space for it to be something you hadn't even thought of yet. So another new thought that I now choose that allows me to experience this, that I most desire is, and fill in the blank. We're fleshing it out a little bit. So we're using the mind, out of infinite mind, we're using the mind to create something. Create an idea. What's it going to take? What are we going to be needing to put into our computer, our mind system here, to have this experience that we want? We're going to put breath in here in just a little bit. We're putting mind in first. Infinite breath, infinite mind. We're going to be working with them both. So third one, the main or most important new thought I now choose that allows me to have this experience, that supports this experience. Like if I wanted it to be joy, I could have joy that a trash truck just drove by. They're still picking up trash. This is good. So anything at all, a new thought that I now choose that allows me to have that experience, referencing back to that thought that you had, what I'd like to be experiencing is, and you filled in the blank. Okay? So this is the big one. What's it really going to take? Really dig into infinite mind and see what thought it is that you would like to use for your practice for today. So now you have 3 thoughts that were causing you whatever that was: stress, discomfort, fear, challenge, suffering. Now you have 3 thoughts, maybe you're still working on it, that will support this idea that you have of what you'd like to be experiencing. So I have a question I'll ask you again later is, if you could do breath work, and I'll explain how this might work so you can understand. Right now it might seem ridiculous. If you could do breath work with us today for about 45 minutes or an hour, and you could have that experience completely, or even just mostly, would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to breathe with us, to be coached, to be willing to learn, willing to change in order to have that experience that you've just thought through or that you just wrote down? If you got a yes as an answer, then this is for you. If not, maybe you came in late. Maybe it's better to go back and watch this again and get the whole story, more of the history and so forth. So breathwork is used as a therapy. And it can be used as a therapy because when we're breathing, we are energizing our cells and we are cleansing our cells. It is the most effective way, and we do it 21,000 times a day, whether we're doing it well or not, or doing it in a way that serves us or not, as it can always be improved. That is the main way that we get energy. It's our lifeline to the universe. It is that which reminds us of what we are. We are that spirit, that breath, that essence that comes in with the breath. It's more than just oxygen. It's energy. It's life force. It's universal energy. It's universal mind stuff, however it is you would like to think of it. Just hopefully you can think of it in a way that it'll help you be comfortable and you can continue to do this. So when we do a deeper breath, which we're going to describe here in a moment, for about 45 minutes or an hour, guess what? You have detoxified your body, and you have re-energized your body, and also through the breath comes oxygen, not just energy. So that oxygen is the most important chemical in the body. Your brain needs oxygen more than any other part of your body, so this will actually help your brain and everything else that is a part of us. So it's physically, it can be thought of as a therapy. So many people now are interested in, through alternative means, of doing detox. Have a colonic, do a sauna, do a detox diet, do a detox herb, do detox teas, eat, detoxifying foods, and do practices to cleanse the mind. But yet, breath work like this could actually it is, by those of us that have experienced it and experienced those other ways of detoxing. This is the way that we have at our disposal. We have it right here. Disposal I used intentionally. We can dispose of all those things. We can detox through our breath. And we can do that today, and you can do it for the rest of the time. Now, mentally, how is it this is a tool mentally? Because when you get into the breath work, you'll be noticing things about your mind. You will be noticing thoughts. Some people would say it's almost like a dream state. Some people would say it's sort of like a psychedelic state. You do not have to be afraid if you do not like or would never consider doing psychedelics because they're dangerous or you would be out of control. You will have control over this to a certain degree. Breath work will take you into your mind and give you a look into that, just like you can look into your mind when you're relaxed and trusting and you're sharing something with someone, that things will come up that you would say to them that other people you would not necessarily be sharing that. This will allow you to get into your mind space and to take a look at what's in there. You'll see if there's coffee in there. You can see if there's fear, if there's memories, if there's repressed trauma and things that you have not worked out. We're going to suggest that by the research done from this and the experiences that we've had, again, thousands at least here, even in this room, hundreds and hundreds of people, is that this is safe to get into that mind space and see what's in there and to have a look around. Emotionally, what you might notice while you're breathing, that this can be working on the emotional level, is you might notice some emotion. It might be sadness. Someone suggested recently, I thought of posting this on our Facebook page, some experts are saying that what we're experiencing collectively now is grief. So you might experience some grief. You might experience some sadness. And inside of us, perhaps, all those emotions of grief are also tied in with all the unsuppressed or unhealed grief that we've had when we've lost a loved one, or we've lost a job, or we've lost, an opportunity or something like that. There's so much going on that some experts are saying are grief. Let's get in there and take a look around. But also emotionally, we can take a look around and find joy. We can find the most ecstatic experience of peace and surrender and acceptance and comfort. And some of that is mental and some of that is emotional. So, like yoga practice, you do the asanas, you do the breathing, you do the meditation, so that you can get into a space where you can have that union with the divine. In this culture, we generally call it God. This also can do that, but it's a shortcut. This is a biohack into your mind, body, emotional, spiritual system, and you can have that today. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. I don't want to be preaching at all, but some of you already know this, and maybe you're thinking, get over the Tom, we already did this, But, so what we're going to be doing today is, in a few minutes, we're actually going to be taking a break. When we take a break, you can write out something we can even hold up there if you want. But when we take a break, we're going to actually go use the restroom. And if you didn't already, get some things that you would like to use to lie down comfortably. You can actually do this seated. And if you keep watching the video, you'll actually see me sitting here and breathing. But actually, for you to get the most out of this, you might find yourself lying down with your knees bent, something behind your knees, or your feet on the floor with your knees up in the air. And nothing behind your head that puts your neck into flexion and cuts off the airway. So we're going to take about a 10-minute break, and we're going to use the restroom, because that's important, because otherwise you'll have to stop later and use the restroom. And we're actually going to use something, find something that we can lie down on, or a comfortable place where we can lie back or sit back and breathe. And we're going to be doing this process. I'll be describing how we're going to do it, and we're going to get into it. We're already into the first hour. Thank you so much. Hopefully you're getting something out of this. This is all preparatory. This is kind of creating the foundation or the pillars for you to have this experience, which we're getting ready to have here straight away. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Y'all come back now here.
Yeah, or even just
Open up with a clipboard.
Okay, welcome back. So let's talk about the kind of breathing that we use in this breathwork practice. We think of the breath as a circuit of energy, a circle of energy, almost like electricity plugged into the universe. We are. So that if we were watching our favorite show, Netflix, a lot of that going on, and someone kept unplugging and replugging the TV, we'd be missing some of the story. The idea here is that when we are disconnecting our breath, that we're missing some of the energy, we're missing some of the flow of life within us. If you watch a baby, a healthy baby or a puppy or a kitten breathe, they're breathing, faster than we do because they're smaller, but yet they're breathing in a connected, rhythmical fashion. We're going to do, a circular fashion. You could think as you're breathing of your breath going around in a circle. You could even do this with me now, if I can get this out of my throat. Notice I'm not stopping at the top like this. I'm not stopping at the bottom like this. I'm making it a circle. You do not have to do this perfectly. That's the goal. You'll get most of the story, most of the experience by doing that. Okay? The breathing that we're going to be doing is in the belly. Some of you will have difficulty doing this at first. Some of you are breathing backwards. Backward breathing is actually a medical condition. It's sometimes called hyperventilation syndrome. You can Google that. So, with your hands on your belly right now, seated, or even if you're lying down already, but Tom, you're breathing through your mouth. That's not healthy. So breathing through the mouth is the optimal way. It's the way we're going to suggest that you would breathe in and out through your mouth for this process of circular, connected, abdominal or belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. You could do this whole process breathing through your nose. But again, you will want it to be a cycle of energy, a circuit, so that things aren't getting unplugged, so you can stay in the experience of what's going on for you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Choosing to breathe through the mouth could allow you to have more volume. It's almost like if you're at the ocean, you have a pump, there's this infinite supply, run it through a garden hose, or run it through a fire hose, or run it through one of those pipes you see on those trucks on the highway. Now you have something. So do an experiment right now. Close your mouth and breathe deeply through your mouth. Makes a point. Barely open your mouth and breathe deeply through your mouth. Notice that there's some effort, but there is at least an opening. Now open your mouth halfway to a yawn, halfway to a bite of a juicy, wonderful, organic, fresh apple right off the tree. I think some of you, most of you will notice there's less effort, there's less resistance. It's like having the window open. If you really want air in, you wouldn't open the window a little bit, you would open the window widely. All right? So, full yawn, full bite out of an apple. But who would want to have that much? So, we're going to suggest that you do at least halfway open if you're going to breathe through your mouth. Circular belly breathing, let's practice that again. Mouth halfway open. Good. That's the goal. If you will do that or something like that, I'll be coaching you with the breath. I'll be offering you some affirmations or some ideas that you can use your mind. Remember, mind and breath, flip side of the coin, yin yang. Mind and breath are the king and queen of human consciousness, human experience, according to Leonard Orr, the founder of rebirthing. So we're using the breath and the mind together. So you'll be breathing, I'll be breathing, you'll hear me breathing, and I'll remind you, and yet I'll be offering you affirmations to get your mind in a place where you can get the most out of this. Again, that's what we all want. That's why we're here. We may use some toning halfway through. The sound that we'll use is ah, A-H. Ah. I don't know if you're at a place where you can do this. Maybe you're sitting in a cafe, but probably not at this time. So you can, with us, you can join in and do ah. If we cue that up for you, that's something that we would like for you to do to help you to move energy and to keep your breath free. I think that's all that you need to know to get started. Please be gentle with yourself. Please, now you've made a commitment to yourself to do this for about 45 minutes, please keep your commitment. We all know how bad it feels to us personally when we've decided we're going to do this for ourselves, we're going to take care of ourselves, we're going to make this change, or whatever, we're going to start working out, and yet we don't keep that commitment. This is about a 45-minute commitment. Please do your best to keep that commitment. You're fully worthy and deserving of this. We've already determined that. All right? So when you're ready, let's go ahead and you're not going to be that much happening on the screen unless you want to watch me breathe. But we are going to cue up some music, but there's also going to be some interjection of voice to keep this going through the breath work. So please lie down, get comfortable. We're going to put on some music, and we're going to breathe for about the next 45 minutes because we really need this and because it's really helpful. Hopefully you're lying down. Notice your breath. First step is let your breath become circular. Full inhale, easy exhale. Over exhaling is a part of that hyperventilation syndrome. It creates anxiety, creates more stress in the body. Please relax like you are sighing on the exhale and continue to breathe in a circular pattern. Let yourself hear yourself breathing. It's like the sound of the ocean, which is very calming to your nervous system. There are 3 suggestions that will help you because you're willing to learn and you're willing to change. You can let me coach you. Observe the subtle changes. There are changes that are happening already that you are aware of, physically, mentally, emotionally, or energetically. Explore those changes. When you notice a strong sensation or a feeling, inhale through that sensation or that feeling. Give it breath. We're bringing breath, which can represent light and love and energy, into anything that happens. there are a set of prayers or invocations that are a part of this practice. I'm going to offer them to you now as you continue to breathe. To the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, thank you for manifesting the performance, effect, and embodiment of the highest possibilities of this perfect breathing session. Perfect integration, perfect remembrance, perfect alignment with the God presence, and perfect acceptance of all good now under grace for each and every one of us who are breathing today. With thanks and in full faith. So be it. It's almost like you're looking inside your cup. What are you carrying around? In your mind, in your body, in your emotions. Keep your commitment to breathe no matter what. You agreed, hopefully you said yes, that you would breathe for 45 minutes in order to have those three things that you wrote out about this experience that you're having now. There's another invocation to the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, Masters of Light, Angelic Forces, I Am Presence, and the Higher Self. You could call on your spirit guides, your guardian angels, your Reiki guides. You could call on the holy angels, the holy archangels, the saints, the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas. You could call on Lord Christ, Lord Buddha. You could call on your higher self. Thank you for your guidance, assistance, protection, and support for this perfect breathing session for each and every one of us. With thanks and in full faith, so be it. Check your mouth is at least halfway open. Relax your exhale. By now you're starting to notice something. Explore that, whatever it is. Inhale through it and relax your exhale into it as best you can. There's a thought that you can put into your mind while you're putting the breath into your body. Please repeat after me. My circular breathing is easy, self-regulating, pleasurable, and continuous now and forever. It's safe to breathe. Put these thoughts into your mind like seasoning into this recipe of breath and mind together. Again, repeat after me. In your mind, use your mouth for breathing, your mind for thinking. My circular breathing is easy, self-regulating, pleasurable, and continuous now and forever. It's safe to breathe. Check your breathing. Is it easy? Is it full? Is it self-regulating? pleasurable, can you let it be continuous, circular, not disconnected, but connected? The breath being disconnected is one of the signs of what creates this sense of disconnection within ourselves and outside of ourselves. We are connected to the universe, to all of life, to God, the cosmos, the universal mind, universal energy, if we'll just breathe in a circular, connected way. It can help to put something, your hand or something else, on your belly to remind you to breathe there. Please remember those new thoughts that you were choosing that allow you to have this experience that you desire right here, right now, today. Remember those statements? I am, and fill in the blank. Continue to inhale through any experience that you're having, any sensation, any feeling, any thought, any emotion. Please keep breathing and enjoy this moment as much as you can. And keep on breathing. Good. Another thought you can use in your mind to help you to get the most out of this. Remember, you're worthy, you are deserving. Use this thought. All parts of me know that it is always safe to relax, and I am relaxing completely now. Is that true for you yet? Are you relaxed? Look for places in your body where you have not relaxed yet. Use your mind and your breath to give yourself permission to have the experience of relaxing completely. Again, repeat in your mind. All parts of me know that it is always safe to relax, and I am relaxing completely now. It's safe to surrender. Please understand, surrendering is not giving up, it's giving in. It's allowing what is happening now to be your experience. By relaxing completely. All parts of me know that it is always safe to relax. And I am relaxing completely now. If you're just tuning in, this is going to seem weird. You might want to jump in and start breathing, or you might want to go back and restart this now or later. It seems weird to watch people breathe. And if you're starting to become afraid of what you're experiencing, or to judge it or criticize it, how about if you just accept it and keep on breathing? No one ever died from breathing too much, only the opposite. The only way to die in this moment would be to not breathe enough we're not only breathing enough, we're breathing more. Keep on breathing. Are you breathing in a circle? Have you relaxed your exhale? Is your mouth still open so you can open and give and receive breath and life? Whatever's happening right now is you looking into that cup that you're carrying around. If you're liking what's in the cup, what you're experiencing, that's you experiencing life more fully. If you're not liking what's in the cup, keep breathing, keep relaxing. It will empty your cup. You will like what you're experiencing soon enough. Remember, you're not just breathing oxygen. All your cells know you're breathing oxygen. All of your cells are getting oxygenated. You're not just releasing carbon dioxide and other metabolic waste. That is surely happening. You're breathing more energy. Keep on breathing. Check your mouth. Is your mouth open? Are you still plugged in? Is it still circular and connected? Are you feeling weird? Is it okay to feel weird right now? Of course. Are you feeling alive right now? Is it okay to feel alive? Is it okay to feel life and energy and power? Of course. Give yourself permission with every inhale. This is where it gets real. What you're experiencing, again, is you. This is you on breath. This is you on life. You're amping everything up so you can take a look at it. It's completely safe. In fact, you could say to yourself right now, because it's true, in this moment I am safe. And keep on breathing. Really, all this experience in me is safe right now? Absolutely. Check it out. Notice that it's true and keep on breathing. In fact, this is a state of bliss. No one with a pre-existing or even a viral affected breathing restriction right now is experiencing this level of energy, or this level of life, this level of oxygen, or this level of breath that you have right now. We've heard in the news recently of people being intubated so that life can breathe for them, so a machine can breathe for them. We are breathing life for ourselves. Keep on breathing. How much gratitude can we have right now for our ability to breathe like this? We are breathing life through that infinite source, through a huge pipe we've connected to the ocean of breath. Please repeat in your mind another affirmation. Use this in your mind while you're using the breath to enliven every breath and every cell in your body. Everything that exists is bliss. And I am experiencing my infinite varieties of bliss in full detail now. Again in your mind, everything that exists is bliss. And I am experiencing my infinite varieties of bliss in full detail now. Since this isn't that sensation of dying that we've all been fearing, maybe we could call this bliss. Maybe we could experience this more fully. Maybe we could accept this and keep on breathing. But one more time, everything that exists is bliss, and I am experiencing my infinite varieties of bliss in full detail now. Is your mouth still open? Are you willing to receive? Are you still willing to learn, willing to change? Be a 10. Why be anything less right now? If you're noticing any discomfort in your body, notice something else in your body that is completely okay right now. And keep on breathing. We're actually going to tone or chant together the sound ah. We will do it like a round. So you'll take a breath and you'll chant ah as long as you can. When you run out of breath, go ahead and chant again. We'll do this for about a minute. This will help you. Let's do it together. Ready? Good. Finish your ah. Finish that breath. Go back to the circular breathing, abdominal belly breathing. It's easier now. Go back to that heart-centered meditation we did earlier and remember what you're grateful for in this moment. Keep on breathing. Breathe the way you would like for life to be. Breath equals life. Let's do full and easy. It would be great to have a full life. It would be great to have an easy life. It would be great to have a connected life. Connected to one another, connected to community, connected to life, connected to the universe. So breathe in a full and easy and connected way. Starting to zone out or numb out or fall asleep, step up your breathing pattern more deeply, more fully. If you're starting to experience too much sensation, slow down the breathing. Don't breathe so rapidly or deeply, but keep it in a circular pattern. And relax the exhale. you're just tuning in, this is weird. You can join in and start breathing with us, or you can go back and restart this, or you can go back and do it again later. But if you're in it with us, please continue. We're almost there. Whatever goal it was that you set earlier, notice that it's closer than before. You may be experiencing it already, or some aspect of it. Please understand that in this moment you are safe by telling yourself that. It's true. In this moment I am safe. If you need to move, move around. Keep on breathing. If you need to shake it out, if you need to stomp your feet, or shake your hands, or clench and release your hands, or beat something next to you that's soft, a pillow or a cushion, or drum on yourself, keep breathing. The next affirmation, the next thing you want to say in your mind is, as you continue to breathe, it is easy and normal for me to enjoy everything now. It is easy and normal for me to enjoy everything now. It is easy and it is normal for me to enjoy everything now. And because this experience, even if you're struggling right now with what's coming up, with what's in your cup, it's not infinitely bad. If what's in your cup right now tastes sour or bitter, it's not infinitely bad. Find something about this moment that is good. While you're still emptying your cup, while you're still emptying your physical, mental, and emotional self, so you can have more energy and more spirit and more life. If you're uncomfortable or you're struggling, it's okay. Keep on breathing. Find something that's good about this experience. Like what? You're alive. You have breath. This will be over soon. Something. Notice that. Notice the sensation that you have. Become even more aware of that. Become even more grateful for that. And keep on breathing. Of all the thoughts that are possible, don't choose something that's limiting right now. Go for it. Go big. Go big with your breath. Go big with your mind. And keep on breathing. Even if you're alone right now, where you're breathing, we're all connected. We're all breathing the same atoms. We're all breathing the same energy. We're all breathing from the same source. Imagine or sense or feel that connection and keep on breathing. It's a miracle. You are a miracle. Breath is a miracle. Life is a miracle. This moment is a miracle. This music that we're listening to is Glenn Velez, drumming the chakras. Keep breathing. We're breathing the chakras. We're drumming the chakras. It's becoming more joyful. We're working our way up. We're working our way through. Keep on breathing. Explore the subtle changes. Inhale through the strongest feeling or sensation. You know what that is. It's something that you're really enjoying or you're really not enjoying right now. Inhale through it, accept it with breath, and enjoy it as much as you can. No one said you had to enjoy this completely yet. We're not done. The enjoyment will come later. Everyone, millions of people have said they love the experience after breathing. Why wait? Let's enjoy the journey. Let's enjoy this moment now. And keep on breathing. You could say in your mind, I am perfect joy. And then have that experience. We're creating with infinite mind and infinite breath. You can have whatever you want. I accept my good now. I am accepting my good now. In this moment, I am safe. It's safe to breathe. Keep on breathing. Simon didn't say stop breathing yet. Circular connected breathing with commitment is all you have to do. So many people give up before they reach the goal. You're almost there. Please don't give up. Keep on breathing. Remember your intention that you set earlier. If you're just joining us now, you would need to go back later and to rewatch or watch this again to set your intention. The question was, what would you like to be experiencing? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, breath, energy. You created 3 thoughts. I am this, I am that, I'm also this. You said you were willing to breathe for 45 minutes to an hour. In order to have that, we're almost there. Keep on breathing, you're doing a good job. If you're feeling tingly, that is life happening. That's like when your foot goes to sleep or your arm goes to sleep and you take the pressure off of it and you start tingling as life returns to that restricted area. Our breathing, our minds, our emotions, our energy has been restricted. We're tingling now. We're awakening. We're reawakening life in ourselves. Good job. Keep on breathing. Remember, you can have it all. All good is possible. You are fully worthy and deserving of all good. Keep on breathing. Go ahead and have that. Go ahead and be that. Noticing that's in your cup. Keep breathing, allow your cup to empty. Keep allowing the universe to fill your cup. It's really quite simple. You can do this. Keep on breathing. We're almost done. There's another thought that you could put into your infinite mind while you're using your infinite breath from this infinite source. You could say to yourself in your mind now, anything I could possibly do leads inevitably to integration. Anything I could possibly do leads inevitably to integration. Anything I could possibly do leads inevitably to integration, to wholeness, to wellness, to oneness, divine oneness, to my ideal experience now. Keep on breathing. We're almost done. Is your mouth still open? Are you still breathing in your belly? We're remembering how to breathe like babies do. Healthy babies. With all their needs and cares are taken care of. Let yourself be taken care of and nurtured and comforted and supported by the breath right now. You could ask yourself a question in your mind. I would say, Tom, where are you? You could say your name. And you can answer right here. Talk to yourself. Right here. could ask yourself, I would say, Tom, what time is it? Use your name in your mind. Ask yourself, what time is it? And answer yourself, right now. It's helpful to notice that you are, indeed, right here, right now. This isn't the past, this isn't the future, this is now. This isn't somewhere else that you've been or that you will be. This is right here, right now. And that brings safety and comfort. Keep on breathing right here, right now. We're almost done. We're going to use another tone or another chant. We'll do it like a round. You'll join us. It's the sound Om. O-M is how it's spelled. The Sanskrit mantra for the universal sound or the sound of creation. You can use it as a long O and a long M. And we'll do it as a round. When you run out of breath, join us again. We're all going to chant Om for about a minute. Ready? Please join us. Good. Finish that Om, finish that breath, and go back to the circular connected breathing. It's easier now. We're almost done. Is your breathing still circular and connected? Are you still relaxed? Are you still enjoying this moment as much as you can? Are you still experiencing this moment as much as you can? Again, if you're just joining in, you can start to breathe with us, but we're almost done. Almost everyone here that's with us, has been with us, is experiencing something that they wanted to experience, a goal or intention. They're arriving there now. You might want to go back and watch this from the beginning now or later. We're all arriving now. We're starting to pull back into the station. You can begin to let your breathing return more to normal now, whatever that is for you. your eyes closed, let your breathing begin to return more to normal, whatever that is for you at this time. Let your breathing and your heart rate and your mind return more to normal. We're going to do an invocation. Please relax and enjoy this moment as much as you can. We call upon the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, the I Am Presence and the Higher Self, to now give whatever powerful and clear signal of connection is available to us at this time. Thank you for giving us all. We are connected, we are one, we are united. Thank you for giving us all a powerful and clear signal of connection. With thanks and in full faith, so be it. Amen. Allow yourself to experience that connection. That union, that divine oneness. Continue to relax, continue to be in this moment, continue to float. Continue to receive. We call upon the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, the I Am Presence and the Higher Self. We call upon all the holy angels, holy archangels, all the benevolent beings who are helping humanity and the earth. We call upon our ancestors, we call upon our spirit guides, our Reiki guides, our guardian angels. We call upon Lord Christ, Lord Buddha, all the great ones, all the enlightened ones. We call upon them now. Anyone who is working with any one of us to now give whatever guidance, understanding, awareness, insight, healing, or gifts need to be received at this time with thanks and in full faith. So be it. Amen. You've opened up the channels. This is a good time to have clarity, or to even ask for guidance or clarity. Insight, awareness, understanding. This is a good time to make a commitment to do more breathing practice in the future, to help yourself and others. And when you're ready, please continue to bring yourself back. Lovingly, kindly, supportively, respectfully, bring yourself back from wherever you've been in time or space or consciousness. Be in your body now. Begin to move your body. or just be. Please tune in or check in or scan yourself and see if there's a word. There's always a word that can capture the essence of this moment. Please have that word, and if you were making notes earlier, please remember to write this down. Please notice that it might be close to that goal that you said earlier of what you'd like to be experiencing, or some version of that. Please feel free to, when you get back to your device, to share that word, what you are experiencing now. We would love to hear from you. If you got anything out of this, we'd love for you to go back and share this as a watch party and invite your friends. It's free. It's helpful. It's a gift of love. You can express and share this love with others. If you see it that way at all, share the love. So we hope that you've gotten a lot out of this. We know that there's other questions. There might be some questions about, well, how do I continue to work with this? We, when we're back up and running in real time, in our real space, where Sabrina and I are today, that we will be offering classes, yet there are free resources on our website as well, and we can lead you to those at thehealingartscenter.com. Under resources. It's several steps. It's not as easy as it could be or should be perhaps. We can help you find that. There's a 100 breaths to joy. If you would start doing that daily, you would get great benefit out of this, and you'd get great joy out of it. So we want to say thank you to you. We did this for you, and as we give, as we receive. So we know that what we're feeling already is we're feeling good about having this time together. That's because of you being here today. Thank you very much. We want to say thanks to the source, the divine being, whatever that is, that infinite supply. We want to say thank you to all the teachers, especially in our breathwork lineage, Leonard Orr, his teacher, Babaji, Sandra Ray, my teachers also, in addition to Leonard Orr, Tom Good and Judith Kravitz, all the breathwork teachers, all the breathworkers in our community. We hope that you find them for private sessions and or for group sessions. And we love you, and keep on breathing. Thank you so much. Namaste. Goodbye for now.